blow that piece of junk out of the sky!
Hey y'all, I'm Madeline Monahan, but you can call me Maddie. That's Totoro, that's Wiggy, and today we're going to do another movie box. I had so much fun doing the last one and I just can't wait to do one again. I want to hope for a good one, but at the same time, it should also maybe be a bad one. We'll see. So for those of you who are not familiar with a movie box, the way that this works is that within this little wooden box, there are the names of movies. A majority of them I either don't want to see or do not like and have no interest in seeing again. Scattered within this box are the names of movies that I actually do like and do want to see. And the way that this works is I will close my eyes, draw the name of a movie, whatever movie I get, I have to watch it. Even if it's something that I absolutely despise, I have to sit through it, beginning to end. So, without further ado, let us pick our movie for the day. Eyes are closed, lid is off. I'm really nervous because I know I'm gonna get a crappy movie. Let's go for this one. Alright, today's movie is The Last Jedi. I actually really like this movie. I do really like The Last Jedi. I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate for saying that, but I'm just gonna throw it out there. I like The Last Jedi. I don't just like it, I love it. I love this movie. But I will say it is not a movie without its faults. And yeah, there are some pretty big faults in this movie. But I'm very excited because I do really enjoy this movie. I do also love ripping into the parts that don't make sense. I'm excited. Let's go. Let's watch The Last Jedi. Woo! Star Wars! Like I said before, I love this movie. I really do. I love it. I really think it's a great movie. I love it. I don't really care what people say about it though, or what they say to me about it, because I love this movie. I think this movie is very good. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's very Star Warsy. I think it's huge for just the development of a lot of characters, and I just love it. But I'm going to talk a little bit about the things that I didn't really like about the movie before I go into the things that I did really like about it. But the things that I'm not a huge fan of in this film is it does drag at times. I will admit, it does drag. Certain scenes go on longer than they should. The whole Canto Bite segment, that whole thing could have easily been edited out. The DJ character, I really was not a huge fan of him either. Not because that he wasn't a bad character per se, or that he was portrayed poorly, it's just there wasn't much of a payoff for his character. He's just kind of there. There's not really a point to his character, and even when you think there's going to be a point to his character, there's no payoff. So it just feels empty, you know? Like the whole Canto Bite thing and DJ and all of that, it just felt empty. To be honest, during the Canto Bite scenes, I wasn't entirely paying attention. Mostly because I didn't find them particularly interesting. And that is nothing against the characters of Finn and Rose. I love Finn and Rose. I really do. But the story that they're given, it's not interesting. It's not something that I'm personally invested in. And it is nice to see Finn not so Rey-centered, you know? I mean, he has his moments of Rey, but for the most part, he's pretty focused on other things besides wherever the heck Rey is. One of the other things too, and I'm assuming that everybody has seen The Last Jedi, and even if you haven't seen it, you know what happens. It's been out long enough, so I don't really care about spoilers, sorry. One of the things that I think should have happened just from a storytelling standpoint and a continuation standpoint, let me preface it by saying this. I think that killing Snoke was absolutely necessary for Kylo Ren's development. I think that that was a very important step, and I'm very glad he took it. I'm gonna follow that up with saying, however, that's when his redemption should have happened or started. And the reason why I'm saying that is because it opens up more to be explored. Instead of kind of having him revert back to being the bad guy, you know? It sort of opens it up for someone else to come in, like Hux or Palpatine. If you really want to bring back Palpatine, that's a rant for another day. The idea is that, you know, that was, you know, supposed to be step one, and it almost feels like he takes like 3 steps back. And he's a very complicated character. He's got a lot going on. I think that should have been a first step for him. Or the other thing that I think should have happened was Rey actually takes his hand. Because again, you have these 2 very important characters at a very pivotal moment. And so you could basically open a whole can of worms for episode 9. A whole can of worms that doesn't involve clones and Palpatine. But again, that's a rant for another day. And now for the things I do like. As you guys might have guessed, literally any scene in this movie with Rey, Kylo Ren, Luke Skywalker, any of that. I love it. It is kind of sad, but that is clearly where the focus was put. It was developing that relationship between Luke and Rey, and then Rey and Kylo, or Ben Solo, Ben Swallow, I don't know, Benny Boy Kylo. Let's call him that. Benny Boy Kylo. You know, and so there was a lot of thought really that went into like their development, and there was a lot of really strong moments for every character in this movie. You know, not just the main ones. There was a strong character arc for Poe. There was a lesson for him to learn, and he learned it. You know, there was a strong thing for Finn and for Rose. You know, you had Luke and Leia, Kylo and Rey. You know, heck, even Hux had a bunch of good scenes. You know, and so that's the thing for me about The Last Jedi, is that there are just so many awesome moments in this movie that really outshine anything else of the nonsense that happens in it. So anything in Canto Bight is like, the second the throne room scene happens, as soon as they are on the elevator and going up to the throne room and the doors open, it's just like, what's Canto Bight? I don't know what Canto Bight is. I'm about to watch people kick ass. It's gonna be awesome. I could rant and rave about the throne room scene for my entire life. It is without a doubt one of my favorite Star Wars moments ever, if not my absolute favorite. I love it. It's so, like, the build up to it is amazing. The pacing, the twist, just the awesomeness. Have like that moment of quiet right before like the fighting breaks out, and it's like, oh my god, it's a great scene. It's so good. I love it. I love it so much. One of the other things though that I did kind of want to talk a little bit about, and this is hopefully where I will have friendly debates with people, is Luke's character. Because I know a lot of the complaints about this film was the handling of Luke Skywalker. Is 3PO holding... Oh, I thought 3PO was holding a blaster for a second. I was like, damn, that's badass. No, he's just pointing. But the character of Luke Skywalker in this movie is definitely not the Luke Skywalker that you grew up with, you know? And a lot of people seem to have a problem with that he's not this all-powerful Jedi master who can do anything. So he wasn't the character that everybody was familiar with. Now the thing with that is that I actually thought that this movie made Luke Skywalker very human. In the sense that he has an extreme reaction to some very serious trauma, which I think is honestly a pretty normal reaction to have, because he let fear control him, which is something that a Jedi is not supposed to do, you know? So he let fear control him in that moment, which, to be fair, he let fear control him in episode 6 when he's fighting Darth Vader and Darth Vader threatens Leia. He lets loose. The same thing happens in this movie. You know, he sees something terrifying, it scares him, he reacts, and he realizes what he's doing before it happens, but realizes the damage has already been done. Luke had a very normal reaction, honestly, because, you know, how are you going to face your sister after you do something like that to her son? Or he goes off and does something. You know, how are you going to face her? How are you going to face anybody? You're supposed to be this big, powerful person, and like all of this suddenly goes wrong, everything gets burned down, every student you have gets killed, and you basically feel like you've betrayed your family. Like, yeah, fight or flight's gonna kick in, and in this case, you know, Luke chose flight, and honestly, that's a very human thing to do. And because of their trauma, like, yeah, he's not gonna want to teach another generation of Jedi. He's not gonna want to teach Rey because he doesn't want to repeat. He doesn't want to live through that again. You know, and so it's like, kind of looking at it from that perspective, I can't be mad at the character choices that were made for Luke Skywalker. Because to me, it makes sense. This movie is, you know, not without its flaws, but there's no such thing as a perfect movie. And it's so difficult with Star Wars because it's like Star Wars has really taken on like a world of its own, and there's just so many layers to it now. And you know, when I was a kid and growing up watching the original trilogy and then the prequels, the Star Wars was just a fun thing to get lost in. Like, you got lost in a galaxy far, far away. And it's just so weird with these sequels because I feel like they've been so polarizing. You know, and it's almost like, you know, as much as I hate to say this, but as much as I'm used to it, being told that I'm not a Star Wars fan just because I like The Last Jedi, I mean, that's not what Star Wars is about, and there shouldn't be any of that, you know? If you love The Last Jedi, love it. If you love Rise of Skywalker, love it. If you love the original trilogy, love it. If you love the prequels, love them. If you love Rebels or Clone Wars or any of the hundreds of Star Wars books that have come out, love them, embrace them, and be considerate to the people who either might not enjoy them, or if you don't enjoy what they like, be considerate to them, 'cause they do. And who are you to tell them that they can't be a fan of something just because they like something that you don't like? Star Wars is fun, and it's supposed to be fun. It's not a cinematic masterpiece. There is no such thing as a Star Wars movie that is a cinematic masterpiece. They're all goofy, they're all campy, they all have their silly moments and things that don't make sense. Just enjoy it. Just have fun. But don't bring other people down in the process, because then it's not fun for anybody. I love this movie. I love this movie very much. I think it is one of the best Star Wars movies. It is a lot of fun. It's got some great humor, great writing, beautiful cinematography, beautiful performances, just from everyone, especially our main leads, these three up here. This is a good movie, and I recommend giving it a second chance. Thank you all so much for watching another episode of Movie Box. I had a lot of fun with this one. I just adore this movie, and Star Wars is something that I hold very near and dear to my heart. It's something that my family and I have enjoyed for years, and something that I plan on passing on to my children when I have them in the future. Love what you love, and for me, I love The Last Jedi. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye! If you have that moment of quiet and that I don't get from a bird,